Hey there. This is a rework of my old no bullshit tutorial for making grab toggles, since that's kind of outdated now. This one's going to end up using VRCFURY, which will be linked in the description, as that lets you make non-destructive props, weapons, anything, really. I also recommend adding Gesture Manager to your project through the VRChat Creator Companion, since that'll let you test everything in the Unity editor. Anyway, we're, as you can tell, going to be using my Noble 6 avatar as the base, since it's already set up, it's got, like, nothing on it. And if you're watching this, you probably just want to put a prop on an avatar that you already have. The biggest improvement from the last tutorial is that all of this now works on Quest, because the last one did not, since it used normal constraint components and all of that. So we are going to begin by right click, create empty on our main avatar game object. We're gonna name this whatever the hell we want. So I'm gonna name it baller, I guess. We're going to add two more empties, one named container and another named constraints. Now, under this container object, you can add empties for like effect spaces and shit like that. But we're just gonna add a simple sphere because, we don't really need anything else. We're gonna scale this down so that we can actually see what we're doing. And we're gonna go back to our constraints. We're gonna add two more empties, held and away. You can name these held and holstered or whatever the hell you want, just as long as you know what they are. I'm going to go back to our container object, and we're going to add a VRC parent constraint. Under our sources right here, you see how it says 0 right there? We're going to solve that by clicking one of these, shift clicking the other. Oh no, wait, that won't work. Basically, you're just going to click and drag them onto the sources right here. So that way they're both here. You're going to set the weight of one of these to 0, since we don't need it on at the moment. And you're going to click the 0 button right here next to activate. We're going to then go back to our baller object, or game, or empty, like the main empty of the prefab. We're going to add a VRCFURY full controller, which, like, at first glance, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fuck shit to deal with. Really not. Most we're going to do right now is click this advanced options button, click this plus under global parameters, and then just put in an asterisk. So that way it will automatically add all the parameters from here as they're supposed to be, instead of adding like VRCF 6969 whatever the fuck to it, because that's what it does by default, which is a huge pain in the ass if you're trying to make something Quest compatible. Another thing we're going to do, as long as we're here, is we're going to add an animator component. I put that above the full controller just for the sake of, knowing where the hell it is. And in our main project folder, we're going to make another new folder. Name it whatever the hell you want. I'm going to just name it baller so it matches the object. This is where we're going to put our create animator controller. So now we have our animator controller. We go back here. Controller. Leave this on FX, since that is what we're going to be animating, and we'll also add it to the animator. So what you're going to do now is you're going to create an animation clip. Already going to go to baller, which is perfectly fine. I name it baller held. And, this is just very simple. All you need to do is go to the container object, and you're going to right click, add key here and here, since this is technically what is set as the default state at the moment. Because I basically, these are going to be in the order that you drag them in. So, for instance, if you move these slots, now element 0 is it being put away, not the other way around. So keep that in mind. So now we have our held animation. We can actually just go back here and copy, paste, do to rename, away. We open this, color away. And now that animation clip is there, so you don't need to go and add another animation. And then from here, you can literally just edit these values here. Use the numpad, change the 1 to a 0 and all that. So what using a constraint allows us to do is transition smoothly between these positions. And it also allows us to not use 5 different objects just because we want something in a different position, which used to be the way you had to do things. At least if you wanted to have your props visually on your body and have it be Quest compatible, because for some reason it took them forever to make their own version of constraints, which, painful times. But beyond the point. So now that we have our transition animation set up, you're probably going to be like, okay, so how the hell do we actually transition between these? Simple. We're going to create VRChat avatars expression menu, which this really isn't going to be used. So in reality, we don't need the menu at all, unless you want to create like a toggle override. Like if you don't want to use the grab at all, which me personally, I always have options to disable the fizzbone, since sometimes fizzbone grabbing can be really jank for no reason. But that's just because that's me and that's my workflow and all that shit. Baller parameters. And we're going to get rid of all these default VRChat ones because we don't need them at all. I'm going to add a Boolean. I'm going to make sure it's synced, so that way it doesn't only enable for you when you turn it on. Because that's what synced does, basically. Synced just makes sure that the state is toggled across the network so that other people see it happen. So you've noticed a pattern of me just naming everything baller. Obviously, you would name things appropriately. We're going to go back here. We're going to add our parameter here. And we're also going to go to our held object, which we're just going to place right here on the right thigh. So we're going to add another empty held fizzbone. And now we obviously add our fizzbone component. I'm going to set this to a hinge limit with 0 max angle, and we're also going to set it to be immobile from all motion. And we're just going to pull everything here down to 0. We're also going to turn grab movement to 0. We're going to turn off allow posing, and we're going to set allow grabbing to other, and then turn off allow others. Their parameter, we're going to put in baller, because, you know, baller. So now we are going to tweak our collision radius. Oh, we're also going to set allow collision to false. And this will set an endpoint. Allow us to have a little grabby sphere. Yippee. So this should be about the right scale for the sphere that we have down there, which is very nice. Nice. So we are going to copy our parameters into our animator by double clicking on it, going to parameters, and then adding 2 booleans. Baller, and then baller underscore capital I S capital G RABB. Capitalization on the is grabbed is important. It is case sensitive. So now that we have these 2 states are held and are away, we are going to change the default state, right click on our entry, change the default state to the away one. We're going to click on our any state, make a transition, and this is only the way I recommend doing things if you're just moving it from one position to another, not like trying to do something super complex where it like spins around and then goes away. But I don't know why you would do that anyway, because that's just yeah, you know what, never mind. I know why you would do it, because it is sick as fuck. So we're gonna set this to no exit time, but we're gonna drag the exit time down to 0 just to be safe. Transition duration 0.1, so it's 1/10 of a second. And we're going to add the condition baller true. Next up, we're going to scroll all the way back up here, copy, right click, copy transition parameters, make a new transition to away, paste both, and then we're going to scroll back down and then just click on the true and set it to false. So now when it's false, it will, you know, be false and put away and all that. Yippee. Drag those somewhere that looks nice for your own personal organization. Then you're happy. So we're gonna name this. We're gonna name this layer baller position. We're going to add a new layer, baller driver, and don't forget to drag that weight to 1. Otherwise, it will do absolutely nothing. It will be useless. So we are going to make a new state, which is going to remain the default. We're going to name this one idle. We're going to add 2 more empty states. That is, this one is going to be whip, and this one is going to be unequip, or dequip, or whatever the hell you want to name. Like I said, this is all just my workflow. Make a new transition from idle to equip. We're going to actually paste the one that we already have but we're going to do something. We're going to set baller to false. Then we're going to add another toggle. Oh, hang on. Unity is deciding to autosave. And we're going to change the second condition to baller is grabbed, and we're going to leave that at true. Now we're going to copy this new transition parameter, make another transition down to unequip, but we're going to make it so that baller is also true. Transition from equip to idle. We're going to set the time. Actually, we're going to real quick just fix all these so that the transition duration is 0, because we want this to happen instantly. Going to go to the new one that we added from equip to idle. We're going to set it so baller is grabbed false. We're going to right click that and make the same transition from unequip to idle. Paste that in. Now we are going to go to our equip and unequip. We're going to add a VRC VRC avatar parameter driver, but you can really just look for driver in this list and it'll work. And we are going to tick local only, so that way it will only broadcast the toggle state to the user, which, since our parameters are linked anyways, this will work just fine. We're going to click add. We're going to leave this at set. And since this is equip, we'll set it to baller, and we will tick this box. So that way, when it is grabbed and it is not active, it will equip it, which will set baller to true. I'm going to do the same thing for unequip, but you guessed it, we're going to leave that tick box blank so it turns off. So one more thing I recommend doing, the held one. Why did I put the held one there? We're actually going to move this fizzbone. It should be on your holstered position. So away fizzbone. I don't know how I'm only now catching that. But, you know, put the away where you want it to be. And either way, for both of these, you are going to add another parent constraint, a VRC parent constraint. So for away, since this is going to be on the player's right thigh, we're going to drag a right thigh bone in, click activate. Go back to our container object, and we're going to set it to be currently held, like currently in the hand. And we're going to use that to position the ball, or the sphere. So now it's in the hand. You can either, okay, so there are technically 2 ways you can go about binding these bits to the body. The way I always do it, even though it isn't particularly performant, is parent constraints. But you can also add a VRCFURY armature link, and then just select what bone you want it to be a part of. So for instance, this would be right hand, and it would merge it to the right hand, which they will technically accomplish the same thing of binding the constraint to your avatar. It's just that with doing it the parent constraint way, let's say that for some reason, right, the holstered constraint was just like out in the middle of nowhere, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to go get that and bring it all the way back manually. So I'm going to click the 0 button. Untick is active. And then reposition it. to where I want it to be. And then I can just activate it, and it will be in the correct position. Now, you can always just have the parent constraint and then delete it once you're done positioning it, but that's not the way I do things. So we are going to, and you can actually mix both of these, which I'm going to demonstrate in a moment. Okay, so we have both of these in position. It's even, okay, yeah, that's on timer. We'll get rid of that for now. Get rid of both of these, actually. It is not like I'm going to be saving this project. So we have the baller object set up. It is going to be on the right thigh. We're going to delete our animator now that we are done creating animations for it. We're going to go down to Gesture Manager and click Enter Play Mode. VRCFURY is going to take a short moment to be like, hey, we're appending all this shit to your avatar. And that may take a moment depending on how much you really have on your avatar. So since I did not put a menu on our ball, it's not going to have any menu here in the toggles. But if I click on it over in the Game tab, so basically, if you click on where the fizzbone is in the game menu, it will pretend like you're grabbing it. It will emulate a fizzbone grab. So the way this is set up, because of the way we set up our driver, you grab it once when it isn't equipped to equip it, and then once you let go, it will return to the idle state. So then you can grab the same spot again. Oops, that was the editor window, not the game window. You grab the same spot again, and it will transition to the holster state. And it is a transition. Like, I'm sure you noticed how there is a smooth but short slide from one position to the other. That's because of the constraint. So that's a big thing with constraints. They let you move an object smoothly, or if you just set it to be an instant transition, it'll just teleport. And I would say that is about it. That's all you really need to know about making a grab toggle. Now, me personally, I always tend to make a few more animations, like one to hide the container and disable the fizzbone. But that's just for the sake of not having 50 billion different props on at the same time. Is like my personal Spartan, he has a DMR and a sniper rifle that are in conflicting positions. So whenever I would try to grab one, I would grab the other, which obviously not great. So having the option to hide a prop and its fizzbone is just beautiful. Chef's kiss. But regardless, you got what you came for. So hopefully this rework has assisted you.